Edmonton is the capital city of the Canadian province of Alberta. It is situated on the North Saskatchewan River and is the center of the Edmonton Metropolitan Region, which is surrounded by Alberta's central region. It anchors the northern end of what Statistics Canada defines as the Calgary-Edmonton Corridor. The area that later became the city of Edmonton was first inhabited by First Nations peoples and was also a historic site for the Metis. By 1795, many trading posts had been established around the area that later became the Edmonton Census Metropolitan Area. Fort Edmonton, as it was known, became the main center for trade in the area after the 1821 merger of the Hudson's Bay Company and the Northwest Company. It remained sparsely populated until the Canadian acquisition of Rupert's land in 1870, followed eventually by the arrival of the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1891, its inauguration as a city in 1904, and its designation as the capital of the new province of Alberta in 1906. Its growth was facilitated through the absorption of 5 adjacent urban municipalities: Strathcona, North Edmonton, West Edmonton, Beverly, and Jasper Place 16, in addition to a series of annexations through 1982, and the annexation of 8,260 hectares, 80 to 0.6 square kilometers, 31.9 square miles of land from Leduc County and the city of Beaumont on January 1st, 2019. As of 2021, Edmonton had a city population of 1,010,899 and a metropolitan population of 1,418,118, making it the 5th largest city 1920 and 6th largest metropolitan area CMA in Canada. It is the northernmost city and metropolitan area in North America to have a population of over 1 million. Residents are called Edmontonians, known as the gateway to the north outside of Ontario. Edmonton has become a staging point for large-scale oil sands projects occurring in northern Alberta and large-scale diamond mining operations in the Northwest Territories. 26, it is a cultural, governmental, and educational center that hosts festivals year-round, reflected in the nickname Canada's Festival City. 1, it is home to Canada's largest mall, West Edmonton Mall, the world's largest mall from 1981 until 2004, and Fort Edmonton Park, Canada's largest living history museum. Established as the first permanent settlement in the area of what is now Edmonton, the Hudson's Bay Company trading post of Fort Edmonton, also known as Edmonton House, was named after Edmonton, Middlesex, England. The fort's name was chosen by William Thomason, who was in charge of its construction, taking the fort's namesake from the hometown of the Lake family, at least 5 of whom were influential members of the Hudson's Bay Company between 1696 and 1807. In turn, the name of Edmonton derives from Adelmatone, meaning farmstead, estate of Edhelm from Edhelm, an Old English personal name. And ton, this earlier form of the name appears in the Domesday Book of 1086. Fort Edmonton was also called Fort des Prairies by French Canadians, trappers, and coureurs de bois. Indigenous languages refer to the Edmonton area by multiple names which reference the presence of fur trading posts. In Cree, the area is known as Amisquikavasking, which translates to Beaver Hills House and references the location's proximity to the Beaver Hills east of Edmonton. In Blackfoot, the area is known as Omakois. In Nakota Sioux, the area is known as Tataga. 40 in Tsuut'ina, the area is known as Naskagachu, anglicized as Nasagachu. The Blackfoot name translates to Big Lodge, while the Nakota Sioux and Tsuut'ina names translate to Big House. In Denessalen, the area is known as Cuned, a metonymic toponym which also generally means city. The earliest known inhabitants arrived in the area that is now Edmonton around 3000 BC and perhaps as early as 12,000 BC when an ice-free corridor opened as the last glacial period ended and timber, water, and wildlife became available in the region. The site of present-day Edmonton was home to several First Nations peoples, including the Cree, Nakota Sioux, Blackfoot, Tsuut'ina, Ojibwa, and Denessalen. The valley of the North Saskatchewan River, in particular the area of Edmonton, was settled to varying degrees for thousands of years and provided many essential resources, including fish, medicine, and materials for tool making, such as chert or quartzite, which are abundant in the area around the modern city and which can be easily knapped into tools, such as axes, knives. The city was also a historic site for the Metis, who held many narrow lots along the North Saskatchewan, which gave access to resources in the area. By 1882, these lots numbered about 44, after which they were displaced and integrated into the expanding city of Edmonton. In 1754, Anthony Henday, an explorer for the Hudson's Bay Company HBC, may have been the first European to enter the Edmonton area. 48 his expeditions across the prairies of Rupert's Land were mainly to seek contact with the indigenous population for establishing the fur trade, as the competition was fierce between the HBC and the Northwest Company and WC. By 1795, Fort Edmonton was established on the river's north bank as a major trading post for the HBC, near the mouth of the Sturgeon River, close to present-day Fort Saskatchewan. 49 Fort Edmonton was built within musket-shot range of the rival NWC's Fort Augustus. 32. Although both forts were initially successful, declines in beaver pelt hauls and firewood stocks forced both HBC and NWC to move their forts upstream. 30. By 1813, after some changes in location, Fort Edmonton was established in the area of what is now Rossdale, beginning Edmonton start as a permanent population center. 50. The fort was located on the border of territory that was disputed by the Blackfoot and Cree nations. Furthermore, the fort intersected territory patrolled by the Blackfoot Confederacy to the south and the Cree, Dean, and Nakota nations to the north. 32. After the NWC merged with the HBC, Fort Augustus was closed in favor of Fort Edmonton. In 1876, Treaty 6, which includes what is now Edmonton, was signed between First Nations and the Crown as part of the numbered treaties. 51, 52. The agreement includes the Plains and Woods Cree, Assiniboine, and other band governments of First Nations at Fort Carleton, Fort Pitt, and Battle River. The area covered by the treaty represents most of the central area of the current provinces of Saskatchewan and Alberta. The coming of the Canadian Pacific Railway CPR to southern Alberta in 1885 helped the Edmonton economy, and the 1891 building of the Calgary and Edmonton C&E Railway resulted in the emergence of a railway town site south Edmonton, Strathcona on the river's south side, across from Edmonton. The arrival of the CPR and the C&E Railway helped bring settlers and entrepreneurs from Eastern Canada, Europe, the U.S., and other parts of the world. The Edmonton area's fertile soil and cheap land attracted settlers, further establishing Edmonton as a major regional commercial and agricultural center. Some people participating in the Klondike Gold Rush passed through South Edmonton. Strathcona in 1897. Strathcona was North America's northernmost railway point, but travel to the Klondike was still very difficult for the Klondikers, and a majority of them took a steamship north to the Yukon from Vancouver, British Columbia, incorporated as a town in 1892 with a population of 700 and then as a city in 1904 with a population of 8,350. 55. Edmonton became the capital of Alberta when the province was formed a year later, on September 1st, 1905. 56. In November 1905, the Canadian Northern Railway CN arrived in Edmonton, accelerating growth. During the early 1900s, Edmonton's rapid growth led to speculation in real estate. In 1912, Edmonton amalgamated with the city of Strathcona, south of the North Saskatchewan River. As a result, the city held land on both banks of the North Saskatchewan River for the first time. Just before World War I, the boom ended, and the city's population declined from more than 72,000 in 1914 to less than 54,000 only 2 years later. Many impoverished families moved to subsistence farms outside the city, while others fled to greener pastures in other provinces. 60 recruitment to the army during the war also contributed to the drop in population. Afterwards, the city slowly recovered in population and economy during the 1920s and 1930s and took off again during and after World War II. The Edmonton City Centre Airport opened in 1929, becoming Canada's first licensed airfield. Originally named Blatchford Field in honor of former Mayor Kenny Blatchford, pioneering aviators such as Wilfred R. Watmay and Max Ward used Blatchford Field as a major base for distributing mail, food, and medicine to northern Canada, hence Edmonton's emergence as the gateway to the north. World War II saw Edmonton become a major base for the construction of the Alaska Highway and the Northwest Staging Route. 64. The airport was closed in November 2013. On July 31, 1987, an F4 tornado hit the city and killed 27 people. The storm hit the areas of Beaumont, Mill Woods, Bannerman, Fraser, and Evergreen. The day became known as Black Friday and earned the city the moniker City of Champions. In 1892, Edmonton was incorporated as a town. The first mayor was Matthew Macaulay, who established the first school board in Edmonton and Board of Trade, later Chamber of Commerce, and a municipal police service. 69. Due to Macaulay's good relationship with the federal Liberals, Edmonton maintained economic and political prominence over Strathcona, a rival town on the south side of the North Saskatchewan River. 69. Edmonton was incorporated as a city in 1904 and became Alberta's capital in 1905. In 1904, the city of Edmonton purchased the Edmonton District Telephone Company for $17,000 from Alex Taylor, a Canadian entrepreneur, inventor, and politician, amalgamated into a city department as City of Edmonton Telephone Department. City Telephone System CTS, Edmonton Telephones. In 1989, City Council voted to create Edmonton Telephones Corporation, EdTel, to operate as an autonomous organization under a board of directors appointed by the city. In 1995, City of Edmonton ownership of its telephone service ended when EdTel was sold to the TELUS Corporation. City Bylaw 11,713 created the EdTel Endowment Fund, whereas the shares owned by Edmonton Telephones Corporation in EdTel Inc. were sold by the City of Edmonton to TELUS on March 10, 1995 for $470,221,872 to be invested for the perpetual benefit of Edmontonians. 70 unions such as the Industrial Workers of the World struggled for progressive social change through the early years, with the first reformer, James East, elected in 1912. Followed by the first official labor alderman, James Kinney, the following year. Many thousands of workers participated in the Edmonton General Strike of 1919, and a strong bloc of labor representatives were on council after the next election. East, Kinney, Sam McCoppin, Rice Shepherd, and Joe Clark. Labor representation on city council became a near majority in 1929, and a full majority from 1932 to 1934 during the Great Depression. 72. Jan Reimer became the city's first female mayor when she was elected in 1989. In 2021, Amarjeet Sohi became the first person of color to be elected as mayor of Edmonton. Geographied North Saskatchewan River is a glacier-fed river that bisects the city. Edmonton is on the North Saskatchewan River at an elevation of 671 meters to 1,201 feet, 56. It is North America's northernmost city with a population over 1 million. It is south of Alberta's geographic center, which is near the hamlet of Fort Assiniboine. 76. The terrain in and around Edmonton is generally flat to gently rolling, with ravines and deep river valleys, such as the North Saskatchewan River Valley. 77. The Canadian Rockies are west of Edmonton and about 220 kilometers, 140 miles to the southwest. The North Saskatchewan River originates at the Columbia Ice Field in Jasper National Park and bisects the city. It sometimes floods Edmonton's river valley, most notably in the North Saskatchewan River flood of 1915. It empties via the Saskatchewan River, Lake Winnipeg, and the Nelson River into Hudson Bay. It runs from the southwest to the northeast and is fed by numerous creeks throughout the city, including Mill Creek, Whitemid Creek, and Blackmid Creek. These creeks have created ravines, some of which are used for urban parkland. 79. Edmonton is within the Canadian Prairies ecozoning. Aspen Parkland surrounds the city and is a transitional area from the prairies to the south and boreal forest in the north. The aspen woods and forests in and around Edmonton have long since been reduced by farming and residential and commercial developments, including oil and natural gas exploration. Edmonton has a humid continental climate, DFB, True Arctic Climate Classification DCBC, with typically cold, dry winters and warm, sunny summers. Prone to extremes and large swings, it falls into the NRC for a plant hardiness zone. Summer in Edmonton lasts from June until early September, while winter lasts from November until March, and in common with all of Alberta 80 varies greatly in length and severity. Spring and autumn are both short and highly variable. Edmonton's growing season on average lasts from May 9th to September 22nd, 85-86, having an average 135 to 140 frost-free days each year. 85-87 resulting in one of the longest growing seasons on the Canadian prairies. 88. At the summer solstice, Edmonton receives 17 hours and 3 minutes of daylight, with an hour and 46 minutes of civil twilight. 89 and on average receives 344 hours of bright sunshine 90 per year, making it one of Canada's sunniest cities. 85. The city is known for having cold winters, though its weather is milder than Regina, Saskatoon, or Winnipeg. 91, all of which are on a more southerly latitude than Edmonton. Its average daily temperatures range from a low of 10.4°C 13.3 degrees Fahrenheit in January to a summer peak of 17.7°C 63.9 F in July, with average maximum of 23.1°C 73.6 degrees Fahrenheit in July and minimum of 14.8°C 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit in January. Temperatures can exceed 30°C 86 F for an average of 4 to 5 afternoons anytime from late April to mid-September, and fall below 20°C for degrees Fahrenheit for an average of 20.6 days in the winter. The highest temperature recorded in Edmonton was 37.2°C 99.0 degrees Fahrenheit on June 29, 1937-92, and on July 2, 2013. A record high humidex of 40 was recorded due to an unusually humid day with a temperature of 33.9°C 93.0 degrees Fahrenheit, and a record high dew point of 23°C 73 F. Now, the lowest temperature ever recorded in Edmonton was 49.4°C 56.9 degrees Fahrenheit on January 19th and 21st, 1886. 95 Edmonton has a fairly dry climate, receiving 455.7 millimeters, 17.9 Fn, of precipitation per year, of which 347.8 millimeters, 13.69 in, is rain, and 111.2 millimeters, for 0.38 in, is the melt from 123.5 centimeters, 48. Over 75% of the average annual precipitation falls in the late spring, summer, and early autumn, with the wettest month being July, having a mean precipitation of 93.8 millimeters, 3.69 in, and the driest months being February, March, October, November, and December. 85. Significant snowfall accumulation typically begins in late October and tapers off by late March. Dry spells are not uncommon and may occur at any time of the year. Extremes do occur, such as the 114 millimeters for 0.49 in of rainfall that fell on July 31st, 1953, 85. Much of the precipitation that Edmonton receives in the summer comes from late-day thunderstorms, which are frequent and occasionally severe enough to produce large hail, damaging winds, funnel clouds, and tornadoes. The summer of 2006 was particularly warm for Edmonton, as temperatures reached 29 Celsius, 84 F or higher more than 20 times from mid-May to early September. Later, the summer of 2021 saw the temperature rise above 29 Celsius, 84 F on 23 days between June and August, while nearly breaking the record high temperature on June 30th with a temperature of 37.0 Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The winter of 2011-12 was particularly warm. From December 22nd through March 20th, there were 53 occasions when Edmonton saw temperatures at or above 0.0 C 30 to 0.0 F at the city center airport, and even warmer in the city proper. A massive cluster of thunderstorms swept through Edmonton on July 11, 2004, with large hail and over 100 millimeters, 3.9 in, of rain reported within an hour in many places. This 1 in 200-year event flooded major intersections and underpasses and damaged both residential and commercial properties. The storm caused extensive damage to West Edmonton Mall. A small glass section of the roof collapsed under the weight of the rainwater, causing water to drain onto the mall's indoor ice rink. As a result, the mall was evacuated as a precautionary measure. 12 tornadoes had been recorded in Edmonton between 1890 and 1989, and 8 since 1990. 106. An F for tornado that struck Edmonton on July 31, 1987, killing 27, was unusual in many respects, including severity, duration, damage, and casualties. It is commonly referred to as Black Friday due both to its aberrant characteristics and the emotional shock it generated. Then Mayor Lawrence DeCory cited the community's response to the tornado as evidence that Edmonton was a city of champions, which later became an unofficial slogan of the city. Edmonton is at the center of Canada's 6th largest census metropolitan area CMA, which includes Edmonton and 30 for other municipalities in the surrounding area. Larger urban communities include Sherwood Park, an urban service area within Strathcona County, the cities of St. Albert, Beaumont, Leduc, Spruce Grove, and Fort Saskatchewan, and the towns of Stony Plain, Morinville, and Devon. Major employment areas outside Edmonton, but within the CMA include the Nisku Industrial Business Park and the Edmonton International Airport, including a planned inland port logistics support facility in support of the Port Alberta initiative in Leduc County, the Atchison Industrial Area in Parkland County, Refinery Row in Strathcona County, and Alberta's Industrial Heartland 119 within portions of Fort Saskatchewan, Strathcona County, and Sturgeon County. Alberta's Industrial Heartland also extends beyond the CMAS northeastern boundary into Lamont County. The individual economic development interests and costs of service delivery in certain municipalities within the region have led to intermunicipal competition, strained intermunicipal relationships, and overall fragmentation of the region. Although several attempts have been made by the City of Edmonton to absorb surrounding municipalities or annex portions of its neighbors, the city has not absorbed another municipality since the town of Jasper Place joined Edmonton on August 17, 1964, and the city has not annexed land from any of its neighbors since January 1, 1982. After years of mounting pressure in the early 21st century, the province of Alberta formed the Capital Region Board, CRB, on April 15, 2008. The CRB consists of 24 member municipalities, minus 22 of which are within the Edmonton CMA and 2 of which are outside the CMA. The City of Edmonton announced in March 2013 its intent to annex 156 square kilometers of land, including the Edmonton International Airport, from Leduc County. On November 30, 2016, the city of Edmonton and Leduc County came to an agreement on Edmonton's annexation proposal. The city of Edmonton was poised to annex 12,100 hectares, 121 square kilometers, 47 square miles of land from Leduc County and Beaumont, including the Edmonton International Airport. As a result, on January 1st, 2019, the city of Edmonton officially annexed 8,260 hectares, 80 to 0.6 square kilometers, 31.9 square miles from Leduc County and the city of Beaumont, increasing the city's area to 767.85 square kilometers to 196.47 square miles, with discussions of annexing an additional 2,830 hectares, 28.3 square kilometers, 10.9 square miles of Edmonton International Airport. Edmonton is divided into 375 neighborhoods within 7 geographic sectors. A mature area sector, which includes neighborhoods that were essentially built out before 1970, and 6 surrounding suburban sectors. Edmonton's downtown is within the city's mature area or inner city. It and the surrounding Boyle Street, Central McDougall, Cloverdale, Garneau, Macaulay, Oliver, Queen Mary Park, Riverdale, Rossdale, Strathcona, and University of Alberta form Edmonton's central core. Oliver and Garneau are the city's most populated and most densely populated neighborhoods, respectively. The mature area sector also contains the 5 former urban municipalities annexed by the city over its history: Beverly, Jasper Place, North Edmonton, Strathcona, and West Edmonton Calder. Larger residential areas within Edmonton's 6 suburban sectors, each comprising multiple neighborhoods, include Heritage Valley, Cascateo, Riverbend, Terwilliger Heights and Windermere, Southwest Sector, The Grange, Lewis Farms and West Jasper Place, West Sector, Big Lake Northwest Sector, Castle Downs, Lake District and the Palisades North Sector, Castleman Steel Heights, Clairview, Hermitage, Londonderry and Pilot Sound Northeast Sector, and Ellerslie, The Meadows, Mill Woods and Southeast, Edmonton Southeast Sector. Mill Woods is divided into a town center community, Mill Woods Town Center, and 8 surrounding communities: Burnwood, Knotwood, Lakewood, Millburn, Millhurst, Ridgewood, Southwood, and Woodvale. Each has between 2 and 4 neighborhoods. Houses in Crestwood, a residential neighborhood typical of most suburban areas of Edmonton's several transit-oriented developments, TOD, have begun to appear along the LRT line at Clairview, with future developments planned at Belvedere, part of the Old Town Fort Road redevelopment project. Another TOD, Century Park, is being constructed at the site of what was once Heritage Mall, at the southern end of the LRT line. Century Park will eventually house up to 5,000 residents. Row housing in Blatchford, the Edmonton City Center Airport, is being redeveloped into a sustainable community of 30,000 people called Blatchford, comprising a transit-oriented mixed-use town center, townhouses, low, medium, and high-rise apartments, neighborhood retail and service uses, renewable energy, district heating and cooling, and a major park. The first residents moved into Blatchford in November 2020. Edmonton has 4 major industrial districts: the Northwest Industrial District, the Northeast Industrial District, the Southeast Industrial District, and the emerging Edmonton Energy and Technology Park, 142, which is part of Alberta's industrial heartland. The Northwest, Northeast, and Southeast districts each have smaller industrial areas and neighborhoods within them. The city has established 12 business revitalization zones: 121st Street and area, Alberta Avenue, Beverly, Downtown, Chinatown, and Little Italy, Fort Road and area, Inglewood, Kingsway, North Edge, Northwest Industrial, Old Strathcona, and Stony Plain Road. Edmonton is home to members of a number of world religions. According to the 2021 census, 44.6% of metropolitan Edmonton residents identify as Christian. Significant religious minorities include Muslims 8.3%, Sikhs 4.1%, Buddhists 1.5%, Hindus 3.4%, Jewish people 0.4%, and practitioners of traditional Aboriginal spirituality 0.2%. Those belonging to smaller religions account for 1.1%, while 36.4% profess no religious affiliation. Within Christianity, major denominations include the Roman Catholic Church, 44.4% of self-identified Christians, and the United Church, 10.5%. 184. Edmonton is home to four major cathedrals, with St. Joseph's Basilica seating the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Edmonton, All Saints Cathedral seating the Anglican Diocese of Edmonton, St. Joseph Cathedral seating the Ukrainian Catholic Eparchy of Edmonton, and St. John Cathedral seating the Ukrainian Orthodox Eparchy of Western Canada. Additionally, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are served by the Edmonton, Alberta Temple. Edmonton also hosts a Maronite Catholic Church. In the 1930s, the local Muslim community began organizing to build a mosque. A local Muslim woman, Hilwy Hamdan, met with the mayor to acquire the land and campaigned to raise $5,000 for the building. In 1938, Abdullah Yusuf Ali was present at the opening of the new Al Rashid Mosque, which became the first mosque established in Canada and the third in North America. In the 1980s, Muslim students at the University of Alberta found it difficult to rent prayer rooms large enough to accommodate the local population and opened the Muslim community of Edmonton as a mosque and outreach center in 1992. From these beginnings, Muslims now form the city's largest religious minority, with 83,015 members to 1,021, representing over 60 ethnic backgrounds at over 20 Edmonton area mosques, 2019. Edmonton's Jewish community is represented by the Jewish Federation of Edmonton, operating the historic Edmonton Jewish Cemetery, purchased in 1907. The city contains 6 synagogues. The oldest, Beth Israel, was established in 1912 and served as home of Canada's first Jewish day school. Other Abrahamic religions active in Edmonton include the Baha'i Faith, operating a Baha'i Center in Norwood, and Druze, with its Canadian Druze Center located in the Northwest Industrial District. St. Joseph's Basilica is the only Roman Catholic basilica in Western Canada. In 2021, 21.0% of residents of Edmonton identified as Catholic. The Hindu community of Edmonton is served by the Hindu Society of Alberta North Indian Temple, the Mahaganapathy Society of Alberta South Indian Temple, Bhartiya Cultural Society of Alberta, and Sri Sri Radha Govindaji Mandir Iskin Edmonton. The Sikh community in Edmonton is served by four Gurdwaras. Edmonton is also home to 2 of Alberta's 5 Unitarian Universalist congregations, the Unitarian Church of Edmonton, 195, and the Westwood Unitarian Congregation. The other 3 are located in Calgary, Lethbridge, and Red Deer. Economy see also, Economy of Alberta Edmonton is home to Alberta Innovates, a provincially funded applied research and development corporation based in Edmonton's Bell Tower. Edmonton is the major economic center for northern and central Alberta and a major center for the oil and gas industry. As of 2014, the estimated value of major projects within the Edmonton Metropolitan Region was $57.80 billion, of which $34.40 billion are within the oil and gas, oil sands, and pipeline sectors. Edmonton traditionally has been a hub for Albertan petrochemical industries, earning it the nickname Oil Capital of Canada in the 1940s. 200 supply and service industries drive the energy extraction engine, while research develops new technologies and supports expanded value-added processing of Alberta's massive oil, gas, and oil sands reserves. These are reported to be the second largest in the world, after Saudi Arabia. Much of the growth in technology sectors is due to Edmonton's reputation as one of Canada's premier research and education centers. Research initiatives are anchored by educational institutions such as the University of Alberta U of A, as well as government initiatives underway at Alberta Innovates and Edmonton Research Park. The U of A campus is home to the National Institute for Nanotechnology. View of Edmonton's Central Business District in 2018. During the 1970s and 1980s, Edmonton became a major financial center, with both regional offices of Canada's major banks and locally based institutions opening. 203. The turmoil of the late 1980s economy radically changed the situation. Locally based operations, such as Principal Trust and Canadian Commercial Bank 200 would fail, and some regional offices were moved to other cities. The 1990s saw a solidification of the economy, and Edmonton is now home to Canadian Western Bank, the only publicly traded Schedule I chartered bank headquarters west of Toronto. 205 other major financial institutions include Alberta Investment Management Corporation AIMCO, ATB Financial, Service Credit Union, formerly Capital City Savings, TD Canada Trust, and Manulife Financial. Edmonton has been the birthplace of several companies that have grown to international stature. The local retail market has also seen the creation of many successful store concepts, such as The Brick, Katz Group, AutoCanada, Boston Pizza, Pizza 73, Liquor Stores GP, which includes Liquor Depot, Liquor Barn, OK Liquor, and Grapes and Grains, Planet Organic, Shaw Communications, Empire Design, Running Room, Booster Juice, Earls, Fountain Tire, and Excess Cargo. 208. BioWare, a video game developer owned by American publisher Electronic Arts, is also based in Edmonton. Edmonton's geographical location has made it an ideal spot for distribution and logistics. CN Rail's North American operational facility is located in the city, as well as a major intermodal facility that handles all incoming freight from the Port of Prince Rupert, British Columbia. 209. In early 2020, CN Rail announced that it was closing its Montreal Control Center and would eventually close its Vancouver Control Center as well, with a goal to consolidate all of its control operations into Edmonton. Retail West Edmonton Mall is the second largest shopping mall in the Americas. Edmonton is home to several shopping malls and the second largest mall in North America, West Edmonton Mall, which is also considered to be the 10th largest mall in the world. Other mentionable malls include Bonnie Doon Shopping Center, Edmonton City Center, a combination of the former Edmonton Center and Eaton Center malls, Southgate Center, Kingsway Mall, Northgate Center, Riverview Crossing, Londonderry Mall, and Mill Woods Town Center. Edmonton also has many big box shopping centers and power centers. Some of the major ones include South Edmonton Common, one of North America's largest open-air retail developments, Ryakin-Mayfield, West Point Center, Skyview Center, Terra Losa Center, Unity Square, South Park Center, The Meadows, Christie's Corner, Currents of Windermere, and Manning Village. In contrast to suburban centers, Edmonton has many urban retail locations. The largest of them all, Old Strathcona, includes many independent stores between 99th Street and 109th Street, on White Avenue and in the surrounding area. Old Strathcona also houses the city's largest indoor farmers market, with over 130 vendors selling local and regional produce, meat, crafts, and clothing year-round. In and around downtown Edmonton, there are a few shopping districts, including the Edmonton City Center Mall, Jasper Avenue, and 100th Street. Near Oliver, 121st Street is home to a significant number of retail stores. Edmonton is the Canadian testing ground for many American retailers, such as Bath and Body Works and Calvin Klein. Many events are anchored in the downtown arts district around Churchill Square, named in honor of Sir Winston Churchill. On the south side of the river, the University District and White Avenue contain theaters, concert halls, and various live music venues. The centerpiece of the square builds a life-size bronze statue of Churchill, unveiled by Lady Soames on May 24, 1989. It is a copy of a statue by Oscar Nemen. Performing Arts Francis Winspear Center for Music is a performing arts center in downtown Edmonton. The center is home to the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. The Francis Winds Pier Center for Music opened in 1997 after years of planning and fundraising. 220, described as one of the most acoustically perfect concert halls in Canada. It is home to the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra and hosts a wide variety of shows every year. It seats 1,932 patrons and houses the $3 Million Davis concert organ, the largest concert organ in Canada. Across 100 to Avenue is the Citadel Theatre, named after the Salvation Army Citadel, in which Joe Schachter first started the Citadel Theatre Company in 1965. It is now one of the largest theatre complexes in Canada, with 5 halls, each specializing in different kinds of productions. In 2015, the Citadel Theatre also became home to Catless Theatre. On the University of Alberta grounds is the 2,534-seat Northern Alberta Jubilee Auditorium, which had over a year of heavy renovations as part of the province's 2005 centennial celebrations. Both it and its southern twin in Calgary were constructed in 1955 for the province's Golden Jubilee and have hosted many concerts, musicals, and ballets. On the front of the building is a quote from Suetonius' Life of Augustus. He found a city built of brick, left it built of marble. The old Strathcona neighborhood is home to the Theatre District, which holds the ATB Financial Arts Barns headquarters of the Edmonton International Fringe Festival, the Walterdale Playhouse, and the Varscona Theatre, base of operations for several theatre companies, including Teatro La Quindecina, Shadow Theatre, Dynasty, Plain Jane Theatre, and Grindstone Theatre. The Ukrainian Dnipro Ensemble of Edmonton, along with other Ukrainian choirs, such as the Ukrainian Male Chorus of Edmonton, helps preserve the Ukrainian musical culture within the parameters of the Canadian multicultural identity in Edmonton. Edmonton hosts several large festivals each year, contributing to its nickname, Canada's Festival City. Downtown Edmonton's Churchill Square hosts numerous festivals each summer. The Works Art and Design Festival, which takes place from late June to early July, showcases Canadian and international art and design from well-known award-winning artists, as well as emerging and student artists. The Edmonton International Street Performers Festival takes place in mid-July and is the biggest of its kind in North America. The TD Edmonton International Jazz Festival takes place in late June and, along with Montreal, were the first jazz festivals in Canada. The Edmonton Folk Music Festival. Edmonton is host to several large festivals each year. Edmonton's main summer festival is K-Days, formerly Klondike Days, Capital X, and originally the Edmonton Exhibition. Founded in 1879, the Edmonton Exhibition was originally an annual fair and exhibition that eventually adopted a gold rush theme, becoming Klondike Days in the 1960s. Northlands, the operators, renamed the festival Edmonton's Capital X or Capital X in 2006. 226 in 2012, Edmonton Northlands conducted a poll to rename the festival that resulted in changing the N. Aimed to K-Days. The Canadian Finals Rodeo was held in Edmonton from 1974 to 2017, but moved to Red Deer in 2018 due to the closure of the Northlands Coliseum. It moved back to Edmonton in 2024 and will be held at Rogers Place through 2026. The Edmonton International Fringe Festival, held in mid-August, is the largest fringe theater festival in North America. The Edmonton Folk Music Festival is also held in August. It was the 4th major Canadian folk festival to be created and has the largest budget for Talent of Canada festivals. Other summer festivals in and around Edmonton include the Edmonton Heritage Festival, Taste of Edmonton, the Edmonton Pride Festival, Chaos Alberta Festival, Interstellar Rodeo, Big Valley Yambori, Pigeon Lake Music Festival, Edmonton Rockfest, Edmonton International Reggae Yambori Festival, Edmonton Blues Festival, and Carawest. 233. Edmonton also hosts a number of winter festivals, one of the oldest being the Silver Skate Festival. Others are Flying Canoe Volant, Ice on White, and the Ice Magic Festival. In the city's early days, music was performed in churches and community halls. Edmonton has a history of opera and classical music performance. Both have been supported by a variety of clubs and associations. Edmonton's first major radio station, CKUA, began broadcasting music in 1927. The city is a center for music instruction. The University of Alberta began its music department in 1945, and Maswan University opened a jazz and musical theater program in 1980. Festivals of jazz, folk, and classical music are popular entertainment events in the city. Edmonton also hosts the Grand North American Old Time Fiddle Championship each summer in July, which showcases some of the best fiddlers in Canada, the United States, and Scotland. The Edmonton Symphony Orchestra has existed under various incarnations since 1913. In 1950, to the Edmonton Philharmonic and the Edmonton Pops Orchestras amalgamated to form the 60-member modern version. The orchestra performs at the Francis Winspear Center for Music. The city also has a vibrant popular music scene across genres including hip-hop, reggae, R&B, rock, pop, metal, punk, country, and electronic. Notable past and present local musicians include Robert Goulet, Tommy Banks, Eleanor Collins, Stu Davis, Tim Feehan, Caden's Weapon, Cretia Turner, The Smalls, SNFU, Social Code, Stereos, 10 Second Epic, Tupelo Honey, Mac DeMarco, Shout Out, Psyche, Purity Ring, The Wet Secrets, Nuela Charles, Seeley Cardinal, and Ruth B. Nightlife opened in 1915. The Princess Theatre is the oldest cinema in the city. There are several key areas of nightlife in Edmonton. The most popular is the White Avenue 82 Avenue Strip between 109th Street and 99th Street. It has the highest number of heritage buildings in Edmonton, and bars, clubs, and restaurants throughout, but mostly west of Gateway Boulevard, 103 Street. Once the heart of the town of Strathcona, annexed by Edmonton on February 1, 1912, it fell into disrepair during the middle of the 20th century. Beginning in the 1970s, a coordinated effort to revive the area through a business revitalization zone produced an area rich with restored historical buildings and pleasant streetscapes. Its proximity to the University of Alberta has led to a high number of restaurants, pubs, trendy clubs, and retail and specialty shops. This area also has two independent movie theaters, the Garneau and Princess, as well as several live theater, music, and comedy venues. Downtown Edmonton has undergone a continual process of renewal and growth since the mid-1990s. Many buildings were demolished during the oil boom, starting in the 1960s and continuing into the 1980s to make way for office towers. There have always been numerous pub-type establishments, hotel lounges, and restaurants. The past decade has seen a strong resurgence in more mainstream venues. Edmonton also has a high demand for pub crawl tours in the city. Various clubs are found along Edmonton's main street, Jasper Avenue. The Edmonton City Center Mall also houses a landmark cinemas movie theater with 9 screens. The nonprofit Metro Cinema 244 shows a variety of alternative or otherwise unreleased films every week. West Edmonton Mall holds several after-hour establishments in addition to its many stores and attractions. Bourbon Street has numerous eating establishments. Clubs and casinos can also be found within the complex. Scotiabank Theatre, formerly known as Silver City, at the west end of the mall, is a theater with 12 screens and an IMAX. Edmonton is known for its natural scenery, food, history, and facilities. It is home to Fort Edmonton Park, Canada's largest living history museum, and West Edmonton Mall, North America's largest shopping mall. Other notable attractions include the Royal Alberta Museum, the Muttert Conservatory, Alberta Legislature Building, Art Gallery of Alberta, Edmonton Valley Zoo, Alberta Railway Museum, and many other natural and man-made attractions. Edmonton's River Valley constitutes the longest stretch of connected urban parkland in North America, and Edmonton has the highest amount of parkland per capita of any Canadian city. The River Valley is 22 times larger than New York City's Central Park. The River Valley is home to various parks ranging from fully serviced urban parks to campsite-like facilities with few amenities. This main ribbon of green is supplemented by tributary creeks and ravines, particularly the Whitemid Creek, Blackmid Creek, and Mill Creek Ravine. There are also numerous neighborhood parks located throughout the city to give a total of 111 square kilometers, 27,400 acres of parkland. 245. Within the 7,400 hectares, 18,000 acres, 25 kilometers, 16 miles long River Valley Park system, there are 11 lakes, 14 ravines, and 22 major parks. And most of the city has accessible bike and walking trail connections, 246. These trails are also part of the 235 kilometers, 146 miles Waskahagan Walking Trail. The city of Edmonton has named 5 parks in its River Valley Park system in honor of each of the famous 5. Edmonton streets and parklands also contain one of the largest remaining concentrations of healthy American elm trees in the world, unaffected by Dutch elm disease, which has wiped out vast numbers of such trees in eastern North America. Jack pine, lodgepole pine, white spruce, white birch, aspen, mountain ash, amber maple, Russian olive, green ash, basswood, various poplars and willows, flowering crabapple, Mayday tree, and Manitoba maple are also abundant. Bur oak, silver maple, hawthorn, and Ohio buckeye are increasingly popular. Other introduced tree species include white ash, blue spruce, Norway maple, red oak, sugar maple, common horse chestnut, Macintosh apple, and Evans cherry. 3 walnut species butternut, Manchurian walnut, and black walnut have survived in Edmonton. Several golf courses, both public and private, are also located in the River Valley. The long summer daylight hours of this northern city provide for extended play from early morning well into the evening. Golf courses and the park system become a winter recreation area during this season, and cross-country skiing and skating are popular during the long winter. For downhill ski slopes are located in the River Valley as well, to within the city and to immediately outside. Entry to Large Sanctuary of Edmonton and Area Land Trustee ALT is a charity focused on conserving natural areas in Edmonton and surrounding municipalities. Its first project in Edmonton was conserving Large Sanctuary, 252 via 0.2 square kilometers, 59 acres, conservation easement with the city, straddling Whitemid Creek south of 23rd Avenue, and containing the only oxbow lake in the city. EALT works with many organizations in Edmonton and is working to conserve the 0.9 square kilometers to 133 acres of forest and farmland in a loop of the river in northeast Edmonton. A variety of volunteer opportunities exist for citizens to participate in the stewardship of Edmonton's parkland and River Valley. Volunteer programs include River Valley Cleanup, Root for Trees, and Partner in Parks. 250 for River Valley Cleanup engages volunteers to pick up hundreds of bags of litter each year. There are many museums in Edmonton of various sizes. The largest is the Royal Alberta Museum RAM, which was formerly known as the Provincial Museum of Alberta until it was renamed in honor of Queen Elizabeth II's 2005 Alberta Centennial visit. The RAM houses over 10 million objects in its collection and showcases the culture and practices of the diverse Aboriginal tribes of the region. In 2018, the building relocated from its location in Glenora to a new building in downtown on 103A Avenue and 97th Street. The museum held a grand opening event and gave out 40,000 free tickets for its first few days of operation. The TELUS World of Science is located in the Woodcroft neighborhood northwest of the city center. It opened in 1984 and has since been expanded several times. It contains 5 permanent galleries, 1 additional gallery for temporary exhibits, an IMAX theater, a planetarium, an observatory, and an amateur radio station. The Edmonton Valley Zoo is in the river valley to the southwest of the city center. The Alberta Aviation Museum, located in a hangar at the city center airport, was built for the British Commonwealth Air Training Plane. Its collection includes both civilian and military aircraft, the largest of which are a Boeing 737 and a CF-101 Voodoos. It also has one of only 3 Bombardier missiles in Canada. Citation needed. Fort Edmonton Park is Canada's largest living museum by area. The Prince of Wales Armouries Heritage Centre is home to the Loyal Edmonton Regiment Military Museum. The museum is dedicated to preserving the military heritage and the sacrifices made by the people of Edmonton and Alberta in general. The museum features 2 galleries and several smaller exhibits. The collection includes historic firearms, uniforms, souvenirs, memorabilia, military accoutrements, as well as a large photographic and archival collection spanning the pre-World War I period to the present. The museum features an exhibit on the role of the 49th Battalion, CEF in Canada's 100 Days Offensive. Citation needed. The Telephone Historical Centre is a telephone museum also located in the Prince of Wales Armouries Heritage Centre. In addition to a collection of artifacts tracing the history of the telephone, the museum has its own theater featuring a brief film led by the robot Zeldin, 259. As of April 2019, the museum is permanently closed. The Alberta Railway Museum is located in the rural northeast portion of the city. It contains a variety of locomotives and railroad cars from different periods and includes a working steam locomotive. Since most of its exhibits are outdoors, it is only open between Victoria Day and Labor Day. The Art Gallery of Alberta is Edmonton's largest art gallery. Fort Edmonton Park, Canada's largest living history museum, is located in the River Valley southwest of the city center. Edmonton's heritage is displayed through historical buildings, many of which are originals moved to the park, costumed historical interpreters, and authentic artifacts. In total, it covers the region's history from approximately 1795 to 1929, represented by Fort Edmonton, followed chronologically by 1885, 1905, and 1920 streets, and a recreation of a 1920s midway. A steam train, streetcars, automobiles, and horse-drawn vehicles may be seen in operation and utilized by the public around the park. The John Walter Museum and Historical Area Seat, 1875 to 1901, is on the Canadian Register of Historic Places. The University of Alberta operates its own internal museums and collections service. The Art Gallery of Alberta AGA is the city's largest single gallery. Formerly housed in an iconic 1970s brutalist building designed by Don Bitterf, 260 for the AGA collection had over 5,000 pieces of art. The former AGA building was demolished in July 2007 to make way for construction of a new facility designed by Randall Stout. It was estimated to cost over $88 million, and the amount that Edmonton City Council donated towards its construction was met with some controversy. The AGA officially opened on January 31st, 2010. Commercial art galleries can be found throughout the city, especially along the 121st Street, Jasper Avenue corridor, known as the Gallery Walk. Edmonton is home to 4 artist-run centers, all located in the downtown Cor Harcourt House, Latitude 53, Osisiwin Contemporary Art Collective, and Society of Northern Alberta Print Artists, SNAP. The University of Alberta and Maswan University also have galleries, the Fine Arts Building Gallery and the Mitchell Art Gallery, respectively. The University of Alberta Museums and Collections also has 17 million objects, 29 registered museum collections, and occasional exhibitions. Edmonton has a number of professional sports teams, 270 including the Edmonton Elks, formerly referred to as the Edmonton Eskimos, and, for a brief period, the Edmonton football team of the Canadian Football League, Edmonton Oilers of the National Hockey League, and Edmonton Stingers of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Edmonton is the only city home to 2 teams in the semi-professional National Ringette League. the Edmonton Womp, and Edmonton Black Gold Rush. The city also hosts an amateur women's football team, the Edmonton Storm of the Western Women's Canadian Football League. Junior sports clubs include the Edmonton Huskies and Edmonton Wildcats of the Canadian Junior Football League, the Edmonton Oil Kings of the Western Hockey League, and the Edmonton Riverhawks of the West Coast League. Venues for Edmonton's professional and junior sports teams include Commonwealth Stadium Edmonton Elks, Argyle Velodrome, Rogers Place Oilers, and Oil Kings, Ray, Maxfield Riverhawks, the Edmonton Expo Center Stingers, and Clark Stadium Huskies, Wildcats, and Storm. Rogers Place is a multi-use indoor arena and the present home arena for the NHL's Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton's teams have rivalries with Calgary's teams, and games between Edmonton and Calgary teams are often referred to as the Battle of Alberta. Past notable hockey teams in Edmonton include the original junior hockey incarnation of the Edmonton Oil Kings, with multiple league and National Memorial Cup championships playing in the Western Hockey League. The Edmonton Flyers, with multiple Lester Patrick Cups and one National Allen Cup, and the Edmonton Roadrunners of the American Hockey League. Other past notable sports teams include the Edmonton Grads, a women's basketball team with 108 local, provincial, national, and international titles, and the world champions for 17 years in a row. The Edmonton Trappers, a AAA-level baseball team with multiple division and league titles in the Pacific Coast League, and the Edmonton Rush, a box lacrosse team with one. Local university-level sports teams include the U of A Golden Bears, the U of A Pandas, the Nate Ooks, and the Maeswan Griffins. Local amateur teams, among others, include the Edmonton Gold of the Rugby Canada Super League and to Flat Track Roller Derby Leagues, Oil City Roller Derby, and Evo Roller Derby. The Rad Torque Raceway hosts regular sprint car and a National International Hot Rod Association IHRA events at their facility next to Edmonton International Airport. The airport also hosts horse racing at the Century Mile Racetrack and Casino 274. The Edmonton International Raceway, which hosts NASCAR Pinty Series races, is located about 50 kilometers 31 miles to the south near Wetaskiwin. Transportation Trentos in Edmonton Control Tower for Edmonton International Airport. The International Airport is the primary air passenger and air cargo facility for the Edmonton Metropolitan Region. The airport provides passenger service to destinations in the United States, Europe, Mexico, and the Caribbean. The airport is located within Leduc County, adjacent to the city of Leduc and the Nisku Industrial Business Park, with direct air distances from Edmonton to places such as London and United Kingdom being shorter than to other main airports in Western North America. Edmonton Airports is working to establish a major container shipping hub called Port Alberta. Rail Mountain serves as a major transportation hub for Canadian National Railway, whose North American Operations Management Center is located at their Edmonton offices. It is also tied into the Canadian Pacific Kansas City network, which provides service from Calgary to the south and extends northeast of Edmonton to serve Alberta's industrial heartland. Citation needed intercity rail passenger rail service is provided by Via Rail's Premier Train. The Canadian, as it travels between Vancouver, British Columbia, and Toronto, Ontario. Passenger trains stop at the Edmonton Railway Station 2 days a week in both directions. The train connects Edmonton to multiple stops in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Public Transit Edmonton Transit Service and Bus at the Stadium Station Transit Center of Edmonton Transit Service is the city's public transit agency, operating the Edmonton Light Rail Transit LRT network as well as a fleet of buses. In 2017, ETS served approximately 86,997,466 people. The bus system saw 62,377,183 riders, while the LRT network served 24,620,283 passengers. From the 1990s to early 2009, Edmonton was one of 2 cities in Canada still operating trolley buses, along with Vancouver. On June 18, 2008, City Council decided to abandon the Edmonton trolleybus system 318, and the last trolley bus ran on May 2, 2009. Scheduled LRT service began on April 23, 1978, with 9 extensions of the network completed since. The original Edmonton line is considered to be the first modern light rail line, i.e., built from scratch, rather than being an upgrade of an old system in North America to be constructed in a city with a population of under 1 million people. It introduced the use of German-designed rolling stock that subsequently became the standard light rail vehicle of the United States. The Edmonton Proof of Payment Fare Collection System, adopted in 1980, modeled after European ticket systems, became the North American transit industry's preferred approach for subsequent light rail projects. The 4-year South LRT extension was opened in full on April 24, 2010, which sees trains traveling to Century Park, located at 23 Avenue and 111th Street, making stops at South Campus and Southgate Center along the way. Aligned to the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in north central Edmonton, using the same high-floor technology of the existing system, opened September 6, 2015. The southeast leg of the Valley Line, which starts in Millwoods and ends in the downtown core, opened on November 4, 2023, after experiencing significant delays. Construction on the second and final phase of the Valley Line, which will extend the line west to Lewis Farms, commenced in 2021. Unlike the Capital and Metro lines, trains on the Valley Line use low-floor technology. Edmonton is a member of the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission, which will begin service in mid-2022. The Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission is scheduled to be disestablished May 31, 2023, as a result of Edmonton's withdrawal. Roads and highways: Anthony Henday Drive in Edmonton. The freeway is the main ring road for the city. A largely gridded system forms most of Edmonton's street and road network. The address system is mostly numbered, with streets running south to north and avenues running east to west. In built-up areas built since the 1950s, local streets and major roadways generally do not conform to the grid system. Major roadways include Kingsway, Yellowhead Trail Highway 16, Whitemid Drive, and Anthony Henday Drive. The major roads connecting to other communities elsewhere in Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan are the Yellowhead Highway to the west and east, and Highway to Queen Elizabeth II Highway to TH. East-south. Trail System Edmonton maintains over 160 kilometers, 99 miles of multi-use trails, mostly within the River Valley Parkland system. Transportation Contour Tower for Edmonton International Airport. The International Airport is the primary air passenger and air cargo facility for the Edmonton Metropolitan Region. Aviation. See also list of airports in the Edmonton Metropolitan Region. Edmonton is a major air transportation gateway to northern Alberta and northern Canada. The Edmonton International Airport (YEG) is the main airport serving the city. The airport provides passenger service to destinations in the United States, Europe, Mexico, and the Caribbean. The airport is located within Leduc County, adjacent to the city of Leduc and the Nisku Industrial Business Park, with direct air distances from Edmonton to places such as London and United Kingdom being shorter than to other main airports in Western North America. 313. Edmonton Airports is working to establish a major container shipping hub called Port Alberta. Rail Mountain serves as a major transportation hub for Canadian National Railway, whose North American Operations Management Center is located at their Edmonton offices. It is also tied into the Canadian Pacific Kansas City network, which provides service from Calgary to the south and extends northeast of Edmonton to serve Alberta's industrial heartland. Intercity rail passenger rail service is provided by Via Rail's premier train, the Canadian, as it travels between Vancouver, British Columbia, and Toronto, Ontario. passenger trains stop at the Edmonton Railway Station 2 days a week in both directions. The train connects Edmonton to multiple stops in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Public transit and ETS bus at the Stadium Station Transit Centereth Edmonton Transit Services is the city's public transit agency, operating the Edmonton Light Rail Transit LRT network as well as a fleet of buses. In 2017, ETS served approximately 86,997,466 people. The bus system saw 62,377,183 riders, while the LRT network served 24,620,283 passengers. From the 1990s to early 2009, Edmonton was one of 2 cities in Canada still operating trolley buses, along with Vancouver. On June 18, 2008, City Council decided to abandon the Edmonton trolley bus system 318, and the last trolley bus ran on May 2, 2009. Scheduled LRT service began on April 23, 1978, with 9 extensions of the network completed since. The original Edmonton line is considered to be the first modern light rail line, i.e., built from scratch, rather than being an upgrade of an old system in North America to be constructed in a city with a population of under 1 million people. It introduced the use of German-designed rolling stock that subsequently became the standard light rail vehicle of the United States. The Edmonton Proof of Payment Fare Collection System, adopted in 1980, modeled after European ticket systems, became the North American transit industry's preferred approach for subsequent light rail projects. The 4-year South LRT extension was opened in full on April 24, 2010, which sees trains traveling to Century Park, located at 23 Avenue and 111th Street, making stops at South Campus and Southgate Center along the way. Aligned to the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in North Central Edmonton, using the same high-floor technology of the existing system, opened September 6, 2015. The southeast leg of the Valley Line, which starts in Millwoods and ends in the downtown core, opened on November 4, 2023. After experiencing significant delays, construction on the second and final phase of the Valley Line, which will extend the line west to Lewis Farms, commenced in 2021. Unlike the Capital and Metro lines, trains on the Valley Line use low-floor technology. Edmonton is a member of the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission, which will begin service in mid-2022. 329. The Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission is scheduled to be disestablished May 31, 2023, as a result of Edmonton's withdrawal. Roads and highways. Anthony Henday Drive in Edmonton. The freeway is the main ring road for the city. A largely gridded system forms most of Edmonton's street and road network. 330. The address system is mostly numbered, with streets running south to north and avenues running east to west. In built-up areas built since the 1950s, local streets and major roadways generally do not conform to the grid system. Major roadways include Kingsway, Yellowhead Trail Highway 16, Whiteman Drive, and Anthony Henday Drive. The major roads connecting to other communities elsewhere in Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan are the Yellowhead Highway to the west and east and Highway to Queen Elizabeth II Highway to TH. East-south. Trail System Edmonton maintains over 160 kilometers, 99 miles of multi-use trails, mostly within the River Valley Parkland system. Media main article. Media in Edmonton has 7 local broadcast television stations shown on basic cable TV or over there, with the oldest broadcasters in the city being CTV Edmonton 1954 and CBC TV Edmonton 1961. Most of Edmonton's conventional television stations have made the switch to over-the-air digital broadcasting. The cable television providers in Edmonton are TELUS for IPTV and Shaw Communications. 21 FM and 8 AM radio stations are based in Edmonton. Edmonton has 2 large circulation daily newspapers, the Edmonton Journal and the Edmonton Sun. The Journal, established in 1903, has a daily circulation of 112,000. The Sun, established in 1978, has a circulation of 55,000. Both newspapers are owned by the Post Media Network. The Journal no longer publishes a Sunday edition as of July 2012. Metro, Edmonton's only free daily newspaper, ceased printing on December 20th, 2019. 380, the magazine View Weekly, a weekly publication which focused on alternative news, was published in Edmonton from 1995 to 2018. The Edmonton Examiner is a citywide community-based paper also published weekly. There are also a number of smaller weekly and community newspapers.